Hello friends! So today I'd like to share my personal rankings of the Resident Evil games. So with Requiem now a month old, I've been kind of mulling this over in my head after finishing it, and I'm pretty confident in my rankings now. So this is my personal list, and I have some hot takes near the top, so just remember this is going by my own experiences, and if you disagree, let me know down below. So just to get this out of the way, I haven't finished Code Veronica, RE0, Gaiden, Revelations 2, or the Wii Shooters Umbrella and Darkside Chronicles. I've started these games at one point, but I just never finished them, and I'm not including the multiplayer entries either. And I've never played Survivor 2, Dead Aim, or Outbreak File 2, so none of these will be included. So at 16 in Dead Last is Survivor. I reviewed this in my early days on the channel, and I just hated it. It actually resulted in me taking a hiatus from this channel and Resi games in general, as I was just so burnt out by it. The gameplay is tedious, it felt lazily put together, and the story was laughable even for a Resi game. So this is the only game that I think is actually bad, but now we get into the games that are good going into great games. So in 15th place we have the remake of RE3. So this used to be a lot higher, but since playing the original it fell straight to the bottom. It's a solid game on its own, but it's just an awful remake. It's short, has a ton of cut content, and lacks replayability in my opinion. Some of the positives are its gameplay, which is really smooth and fun to play. And, also Jill. She's the highlight in that messy game. And in 14th place, we have RE6. Sure, it's an awful horror game, but as an action co-op shooter, it just rocks. The gameplay is smooth, and it's really fun to fight enemies. The story is pretty weak, however, and only Leon and Jake's campaigns have an inkling of Resident Evil. Chris's campaign is just Call of Duty. But overall, it's a great co-op experience if you have a buddy to mess around with. So in 13th place is Village, and it's kind of an interesting one. I didn't expect it to be this low, but after playing it in preparation for Requiem, it fell down a bit on the poll. It's a really solid experience, but the on-rails feel of it really drags it down. You can't really go back and explore different areas. And combining that with a lackluster story, it really falters where the other games shined. So in 12th place is Outbreak. So I did not expect to love Outbreak as much as I did, but it quickly grew on me. Getting to run around Raccoon City with other people and exploring the classic locations from RE2 and 3 was just a blast. The characters were really fun to experiment with and see who played differently. And I really hope that Capcom ports or remasters these games one day so that others can have fun in Raccoon City as well. In 11th place is Resident Evil 7. So Resident Evil 7 was the first true horror game that I ever played. I remember being terrified of its demo after playing it at a friend's house one night. So this game will always be in my core memories. I think it's a really solid game and a great, refresh of the franchise, despite its rougher second half where the quality dips quite a bit. But getting into the top 10, we have RE5. This game gets a bad rap for its action-heavy focus, but personally I love it. The characters here are fantastic, and Wesker is just great in this game. My buddy and I replay it every year, and we're actually replaying it right now, so it may be my favorite co-op game of all time. And it really just makes for a fun night of scares and laughs with the homie. In 9th place is Revelations 1, and I never see any Revelations 1 love online, which sucks. This game really surprised me with its modern Resi action mixed with an atmosphere and setting that calls back to the original trilogy. I loved playing through this game and just getting that classic Resi feeling again as I explored the Queen Zenobia and just backtracked and, fought enemies. It was just great. And, of course, Jill is the main character, so it automatically gets a plus. Alright, huge hot take here. Please don't kill me. But next, in 8th place, we have the original RE4. Yes, this game changed the series and gaming as a whole, and yes, it is a fantastic game with infinite replayability. This game is still fun even 21 years after it was released. I played this for the first time in 2020, but I've only replayed it twice, and I've actually started a new playthrough recently, and I'm loving it so far. But personally, I just enjoy the upcoming games a bit more. But Leon and his dumb quips will always live in my head rent-free. In 7th place, we have Requiem. I was addicted to this game for 2 weeks straight when it came out. I 100%ed it and got the platinum, which is the quickest I've ever done for a Resident Evil game. Its mix of RE2 and 4 remakes gameplay just really scratched the Resi itch in my brain, and I just loved the entire thing. But thinking back on it now, the story really holds it back. It's dumb even for a Resident Evil game. But personally for me, the characters of Leon and Grace made it worth it. So in 6th place, we have the original RE2. So when I first played through the original RE2 about a year ago on this channel, it was a ton of fun for me. It really took what worked in RE1 and just expanded it into a city, providing even more scares with bigger and better monsters. Its tight gameplay mixed with a great atmosphere provided one of the quintessential horror experiences in gaming, and I just loved it. But another hot take, in 5th place we have RE1 Remake. But just wow, this game still holds up so well. It took the concepts shown in RE1 and just fully realized them, making for a fantastic horror experience. The atmosphere in this game is unmatched, and anytime I entered a new area, I was just immediately tense. The characters are just wonderful, and Lisa Trevor is one of the most tragic yet memorable enemies in Resident Evil. And overall, it's just a fantastic remake. So, in 4th place, and this may be controversial, but I don't care, we have the original Resident Evil. So, the OG RE1 is just an imperfect masterpiece. The awful dialogue, campy vibes, and genuinely scary moments make it a fun ride from start to finish. And I still think about my first playthrough to this day. I know RE1 Remake is objectively the better game, but I don't care. I love the awful dialogue and cheesy moments so much. This game is just amazing. So in 3rd place, we have the RE4 Remake. And ultimately, in my opinion, it triumphed over the original. It took the fantastic concepts in 4 and added to them. The gameplay was refined, adding more that Leon could do to defeat the Los Illuminados. And the story was enhanced so well by tying it into the main series. The original RE4 is kind of like loosely connected to it, but this one just made it more fleshed out. And Luis and Ashley went from forgettable characters to some of my favorites in the entire series. I've replayed this game so many times and will continue to do so well into the future. But taking 2nd place is the original RE3. I was surprised how quickly I fell in love with this game. It took what worked in RE1 and 2 and fleshed it out while also adding its own spin. The streets of Raccoon City made for a fun maze of terror and thrills as Jill ran from Nemesis. The live selection feature adds so much replayability to this game, and I still wish they would bring it back. And, obviously it has Jill, so it's automatically a top tier game. But if you've seen any of my videos, you'll know what's at number 1. The Resident Evil 2 Remake is what made me fall in love with this series. It helped me crawl out of a dark time in my life, and it's now one of my comfort games. The gameplay is tense, providing authentic scares as you struggle with a single zombie. And I just love the interconnectivity of the entire RPD map. To me, this game is Resident Evil through and through. It's what I think about when I hear the word Resident Evil. No matter how many times I replay it, I'll never feel tired of it. The RPD will always feel like a home to me. And that's the video. Like I said in the beginning, I love all of these games except for Survivor, and I will continue to replay them well into the future. But I want to know your personal ranking down below. I know I have different takes than most, but let me know how dumb I am for my rankings. But aside from that, in other channel updates, there is a lot more subs now, so welcome in. It's so cool seeing this channel grow. And for those who subbed because of the FF7 video, don't worry, I have more FF7 content coming. I'm currently playing through Crisis Core right now. I was playing Dirge of Cerberus, but that game is pretty rough, so I'm going to play in increments so I don't get burnt out by it. But it will be a bit before the Crisis Core video goes up, as I'm going on a trip to Japan soon. In fact, this video will be going up when I'm there. So I apologize for it taking so long. I didn't expect the FF7 video to blow up like this, but I'm glad regardless. I plan on spending the entire plane ride playing Crisis Core so I can get it out when I get back. So hopefully that'll all work out. And for fans of the RE Iceberg, I'm going to try and have part 1 of Tier 7 done before I go. So hopefully that'll be up about a week after this video. But with that, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. Bye!